Ladies and gentlemen, $200,000. Welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, a show in which we turn on the radio and talk about what it is that's going on. What it is that's going on is the press has started their new line of hoaxes. The golden age has begun, but the press doesn't want you to know that it's the golden age, so they are telling you that a certain person gave a Nazi salute. All you have to do is watch 1 second before the clip they're showing you, and you'll know that it's not a Nazi salute. If you watch the clip that they're showing you, you will know that it's not a Nazi salute. But since they're telling you it's a Nazi salute and showing you part of the salute, it's easy to think that maybe the press is telling you the truth, because some of you still think the press is telling you the truth. I feel sorry for you. It's gotten ridiculous, and if you still think the press is telling you the truth, wow. So what else is going on? Well, in Nazi news, I have to actually give a Nazi salute, but it's for a play, and in the play, the Nazis are the bad guys. Coming up is auditions for a play that makes fun of Nazis, which is something Mel Brooks did as a revenge against the Nazis. He grew up with a connection to the Nazis that we don't have today. What we have to realize is that even Nazis did something right. I don't think it's a good idea to go around talking about them being good, but every bad person does something good, and every good person does something bad, and people are people. And this idea of vilifying everybody is not working, and it's stupid, and it is naive. If somebody does something you like, don't check their voting record. Just thank them for doing something you like. How about that? So I'm headed right past Trump International Golf Club, where Trump was... Well, is this the one where they hit him? No, this is the one where they... What? See, there's so many stories that I can't keep them straight. This is one of the assassination attempts happened, where the guy got on I-95 and drove an hour before they caught him, and the Secret Service saw the gun or something like that. It's that assassination attempt. So I'm driving right past it with something with Trump's name on it, and I'm thinking about, if a celebrity billionaire, Bruce Wayne, hadn't come to rescue us, where would we be right now? Well, I don't know. Trump has a lot of opportunity to do a lot of bad, and he has a lot of opportunity to do a lot of good. And we must remember that all good is good for somebody and bad for somebody else. So let's talk about tariffs. Tariffs are not necessarily bad. Tariffs are not necessarily good. Tariffs are similar to taxes. Depends on who's getting tariffed. It depends on the level that they're getting tariffed at, and depends, more importantly, on what a lot of people don't understand, upon the negotiation. Threatening somebody with a tariff is part of a negotiation, a business deal. So if we want to get a good deal, we can threaten a tariff. If we want to get a good deal, we can say, oh, no, we won't tariff. So it's a way of starting the negotiation before negotiations start. So by signing 200 executive orders, Trump is getting some things done immediately. And by talking about tariffs over and over and over, he's getting his enemies just to say they're wrong, because they're just reacting to anything he says and saying anything he says is wrong. But he's also letting other countries know that that's something they can negotiate. So what some people don't understand is a government can be run like a business. And if you've ever had a boss who was a jerk, you know that that can be good for the business. And I understand that you might not want America to be run like a business, but there are advantages to America being run like a business. For instance, a business can't run with a deficit for very long. So something big has to change. And maybe this is going to help if the Department of Government Efficiency actually does some efficient things. Vietnam is deciding to do what Argentina did, which is just cut the government so far that they just gut the government. So what Argentina just did, what Argentina did was to just eliminate many government jobs. And Vietnam is going to do that. And Trump is talking about doing that. Now, does he do everything he says? No, but I personally have thought way before the age of Trump that we must make the government smaller. And at least somebody's talking about doing it again. But people have been talking about making the government smaller for my whole life, and they haven't. The government's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And part of the problem is when the government gives a citizen something, we think of it as free, but the bill still comes in and the citizens still have to pay that bill, or the government goes belly up and doesn't pay its bills. So there really is no such thing as free. It's just a question of who's paying for it. Now, I love freebies. I really do love freebies. But somebody made that product, somebody transported that product, somebody made that product available, and sure, I can get it for free, but that doesn't mean it's free. Do you follow me? For instance, I just stood in line at Dunkin' Donuts and I got a coupon book for 1 free iced coffee every week for the next year. So I'm going to get 52 iced coffees for free. But Dunkin' Donuts and the worker at Dunkin' Donuts and the stockholders of Dunkin' Donuts and the Dunkin' Donuts Corporation is going to have to give me coffee that they bought. And they're going to have to pay those workers to hand me that coffee. And they're going to have to pay for the extra cream and the flavors. So sure, it's free to me. But everything the government does is paid for by the citizens. And right now, the citizens owe a lot of money, and we've got to get that number down. So I think we must cut the government, and that will be bad for government workers who can't find a job right away, but it will be necessary and good overall. So we've got to stop thinking that Trump is bad or Trump is good. We've got to stop thinking that tariffs are bad or tariffs are good. We've got to stop thinking that a smaller government is bad or good. We've got to be a lot more mature about this and say, in order for the government to get smaller, the people who work for the government are going to be inconvenienced, and some of them are going to really, really have trouble finding a new job. But the amount of people who are going to have trouble finding a new job is much smaller than the objective, because if the whole United States government falls, then we all are going to suffer way more than a couple people who have to find a job within the system. If the system falls, or when the system falls, because all systems fall, sure, there'll be, 5 people who want to live in the woods who will benefit from it, but everybody is going to be inconvenienced and have a change in their life that's just catastrophic. So we've got to stop thinking in terms of everything's good, everything's all good, or something's all bad. We have to start working on promoting the good and not worrying about what else people believe. Yesterday, Trump said there are two genders. I don't care what you think. You know that was not controversial 50 years ago. In the history of humanity, that was not controversial. It might be controversial to you, but that's a very new attitude, and it's not what biology says. But even if you think there are 42 genders, find whatever these people are doing good and get them to do more of it. And don't just say because they disagree with you on that everything they do is evil, because everything they do isn't evil. Your grandparents didn't think there were more than two genders, and they did some things right. So let's do some of the things right that your grandparents did. Let's do some things right that nobody's thought of yet, and let's enter the golden age together. You're going to benefit from the good things that your enemies do. So you might as well band together and work with your supposed enemies on everything that you agree with. It's pretty simple. I can't believe I have to say it out loud. But if you were not happier when Biden was president than when Trump was president, the problem isn't Biden and Trump. The problem is in your head. If you were not happy when your guy won, change your mind and realize that the news has made you so afraid that you're not thinking straight. If you thought the world was going to end if Biden wasn't elected, and it didn't make you happier when he got elected, the problem is in your head. We all have problems in our head, but there's a big problem in your head, and you need to think about it. I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but democracy is not dead. The world didn't end, and you need to find things that you agree with your neighbor and get some things done with your neighbor, regardless of who they voted for. All right? That's it. Welcome to the Golden Age.